So welcome once again. This is Dr. Bart Rademacher, hashtag real people, hashtag real conversations, and hashtag real success with prescription for your transformation. And on this happy Friday, just before the weekend, and again, also just before the Super Bowl, you have to wonder this whole concept about getting people excited about your company or your brand. So what is that really all about? How is it that you can actually effectively get your message out there so that people can actually find you? And there's a true magic behind all of this. And the key about this is that you really do have to find the right people that can help you leverage social media or other marketing outlets for this to specifically happen. And so today I'm delighted to be joined by Kelly Hanna with the Big Sprout Media, who's going to talk about digital marketing, social media, how to tap into this magic and really create exponential growth for your own business. So welcome, Kelly. Thank you for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So you have an amazing journey, and we share some pretty cool experiences with some of the personal growth environments that we live in. But I'd like to start off with your personal story. But before I start off with that, is that what I want people to appreciate about you is that you're tapped into this world of social media, how to absolutely help, small business, Fortune 500 businesses really benefit from the opportunities that social media has so that people can really exponentially grow their business. Because it's a mastery, it's an art that very, very few people really honestly can master, can do well, if you will. And most people also take for granted. So share a little bit about that world first, and then we'll go back into your own personal journey.
Well, it's definitely, I was, I guess, formally trained in advertising and marketing back in college in the 80s, and it's certainly not the same world anymore. It's certainly, the dynamics they don't even remotely resemble what I used to do back when I first graduated college. So, the other thing is it's a constantly morphing industry. Every day I wake up and I'm checking and learning because things have changed overnight. Facebook has changed their algorithms, LinkedIn changes theirs, Snapchat drastically changes theirs. Every platform is so different, and it's really an art form. It's quite a dance, and not every industry has the same results with different platforms. And so I study what industry can gain the most leverage in what platforms. And a lot of people dismiss things like Snapchat and Instagram, and they're extremely powerful. And also understanding the energy of the different generations and how they react to social media. There's a lot of things that you kind of have to spin. And, there's some really good examples and there's some really bad examples. And something that I never, ever stop learning, even at 50 years old, I spend an hour a day learning and studying what's new, what's trending, studying news feeds for newsjacking and trying to jump on trends and waves for clients if it fits where they're trying to go. It's a lot of fun, though. It's just, it keeps me on my toes, and I love it. And it's something I can do pretty much from anywhere. As long as I have my devices with me, I'm on.
I love that. And that portability of your business is just absolutely wonderful. So you could be in like an Aruba or some sort of Caribbean island and, just working right on the beach.
Right. Because one of the niches and, some of the things I've learned in the trainings that I've had that we're going to talk about is to, number one, follow your passion and be very focused and clear on what you want. And that was a dynamic that I learned. What kind of clients do I want? And I love heart-centered clients. I've worked with, I'm a storyteller. I've worked with a lot of nonprofits and worked with some people doing amazing things. And when the client is inspiring, that for me, my creative juices just explode and they're unstoppable. Working for tourism boards, being able to go to a resort and experience, someplace in the jungle of Nicaragua, and I get to write about it and do videos and, get them found online so that people know where to go. Like sustainable communities are very popular in Central and South America right now. Self-sustainable off-the-grid islands are a huge destination now for a very cool dynamic. So I've done some work there. So I get to travel. And people ask me where my office is, and I said, right here in my Toomey backpack, in my whole office. And so, yeah, it's pretty fun, and it's allowed me to let my children explore the world. I take them with me. I mean, they're adults and they still go with me. And, it's been a phenomenal way to raise my girls and understanding, that their world is so much bigger than where we live.
But it hasn't always been like this. And the purpose of this platform, too, is to show people, you know what? There's always a story behind somebody's tremendous success. There's always that journey. And sometimes people call that a hero journey. It doesn't matter whether it's a hero journey or not. But you have a particular story of your personal success, because this was not something that happened overnight. This was not something that was given to you. So why don't you share that, with the listeners? Because again, it's the whole purpose for this is to have real conversations about people's success and be an inspiration for others that you're not alone.
Yeah, and a lot of people they have these belief systems built around why they can't succeed. And I was one of those people. I mean, I'm really I grew up on a little tiny farm in a town of Wisconsin that nobody ever has heard of. A very small town. I never even traveled until I was nearly 20 years old. I didn't even get on my first airplane until I was 20 years old. Never left the state of Wisconsin until I was 20 years old. So, I mean, I grew up in that very protected, very safe environment of growing up on 18 acres in the middle of nowhere. And, barefoot with my feet in the dirt all the time. I was always outside playing. And then just feeling this hunger inside of me, knowing that there's this huge world out there that I wanted to explore. And I left home at 22 right after college and drove to Florida and, still live there today. So fast forward from there, I teaching alternative healthcare, and ultimately my college experience is advertising and marketing, and it's a creative passion that I think I was just meant for, because I'm very much of a connector. I'm always looking above and out. I don't know what a box means. I have no comprehension of what a box is. Then settling down, and I got married and had to stretch myself to join the family business of being a general contractor. And I brought that dynamic to that business as well and built it up very successfully. And thankfully, I was a spouse who integrated myself into the family business very strongly, because very unexpectedly at 36 years old, I was widowed. I lost my husband, unfortunately, to a drug overdose. And it was a rude awakening. And here I was at 36 years old with two little girls, ages 7 and 8, by myself. And here's where I was very grateful for my military police officer dad raising a very strong young woman. And I had to think very quickly how to land on my feet. There was no life insurance policy. There was no nothing. He just, on a Monday night went to work, came home, went to bed, and never woke up, and found out that he had overdosed on prescription pain medications. And then promptly left me with nearly $100,000 in gambling debts, which we uncovered after he passed away. So I had to get very resourceful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in addition to that, I got very angry at how this happened to me and why me, and what am I supposed to do raising two little girls all by myself in Florida when all of my family was back home in Wisconsin. And I just made up my mind I would not give up, and I would not take anything less than what I was meant for. And within that little wobble in my life, I ran into a wonderful woman who kind of saw how hard I was trying to hold everything together. And I was killing myself, working 20 hours a day and trying to still be a mom to two little girls and trying to figure it out, and working in construction in an industry that was brutally corrupt. In Palm Beach County at that time, it was the same time when all of our county commissioners were going to prison, and there were deals being made. And it was such a stressful and corrupt environment, and it just did not mesh with who I am at my core. I'm a very heart-centered, very passion-driven individual, and was blessed enough to interact with a woman who gifted me a ticket to a Tony Robbins event. And I spent 4 days at that event, and my life changed in a moment.
What year was that?
That was 2011. I
Oh,
did my first
wow.
interview, I did my first firewalk, and I've never looked back. I instantly signed up for everything Tony did and pursued it. Did Date with Destiny, did Life Mastery, did, I mean, just everything. And I just couldn't get enough. I was so hungry, and everything that he was teaching. And I know it sounds like fanatic, and I know, everybody
Well,
jokes around.
I can relate to all of that. I have the same
Yeah.
story, by the way.
Yeah. And people are like, oh, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. Oh my gosh. If you really sit down and listen to Tony's teachings and all of the experts that he's worked with in his life, and he shares that knowledge and he shares that experience, and it makes sense. And it's not just somebody up there just blah, blah, blahing a bunch of fluff. You actually take it. It's actually meat. You can utilize it and apply it. And I did that, and it worked, and it just kept working and working and working. And then I did my first business mastery. And so finally, on a personal level, I got out of my own way. And that made business mastery so much more effective for me because I learned strategies and I applied those strategies, and my company exploded
Right.
so much. I scared the living daylights out of my partner. And he was not into what I wanted to do. He very much wanted to stay small, and I'm like, that's okay. That's your journey. My journey, I'm unstoppable right now, so I'm just going for it. And I did, and it's worked out really well. I am right now putting 2 children through medical school and
Nice.
running 2 households, and coming full circle. I just got engaged on December 5th, so I'm really, really happy.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah,
Nice.
you know, life unfolds for you, right?
Now, what's the saying goes? Life doesn't happen to you. Life
It
happens for
for you.
you.
Yeah.
And here's the
For you.
truth. And again, and this is why it's so great to hear your story, because so many people just choose to give up. So many people choose to be at the effect of the world around them.
And
And
they say, well, oh, it's just the way it goes, or it's just the way it is, or it's just a part of the process, or it's just life. And that's a bunch of BS.
yeah, and it's just you're just there's a word that we like to use, which is victim, which most people don't like to hear. But it's true. I mean, you can choose. I mean, you are responsible for your own head, your brain,
Mhm.
your thoughts, your actions. You're also responsible for what choices you make, what decisions you make. And I'm not
And
going to say what.
well, I guess the thing most people don't realize is how much power they have. They always pawn it off. They think that they don't have any power, and they have all the power in the world. They are the ones that get to choose whether or not they bring joy or sorrow to a situation, whether or not they bring good energy or bad energy. They get to choose the reaction to no matter what happens. And, if people would embrace that power, it's very effective. And to stop ex- having expectations for external things to create your happiness.
No, absolutely. And as you know, it's also about increasing your choice, having that flexibility to have more choice, so you can create the life that you want. So you must be a great model for your own children.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't. Don't get me started. I'm the proudest mommy on the planet. My oldest, well, and then I forgot to tell you, after my husband passed away, I adopted 2 more children.
Oh, wow.
I took on 2 girls who had similar situations, had lost a parent or had some serious issues at home, and they moved into my house and ended up kind of being a quasi foster mom for several other of my daughter's friends as well. I saw a lot of irresponsible parenting going on, and I kept my door open 24 hours a day. Anybody that wanted a safe place to stay, a good hot meal. I love to cook, and I love to cook big. So I want to cook for lots of people. My house was where there were sleeping bags all over the floor and a massive breakfast when you woke up. And it was a happy place. So, I have all of these, you know, young adults, all these beautiful millennials that call me Mama Dukes, or, that's Madre or Mama Dukes. That's what they call me at home. And
Beautiful.
it's a beautiful thing. But my biological oldest daughter started college at 16. She's 21 years old. She's now delivering babies as part of an externship with her nursing program. And, she called me up and she's like, Mommy, I'm going to help with my first C-section. And I just have to tell you how much I love you.
Aw.
And so at 21, she's 8 months away from her nursing degree. And yeah, she's going to specialize in obstetrics. And then my 20-year-old, also just watching, she's a full-time nanny. She is just this little fireball of tenacity, just sheer tenacity, this girl. And she is going for dermatology. So she started at an IB program at high school at 13.
Nice.
So I have to say that they have inherited my energy in that respect, and they're both.
Well, they not only inherited that part, but they also saw what you did,
Yes.
and I think being that model of success and empowerment and not giving up and moving forward and choosing the right thing and actually choosing beyond just what life challenges have presented you. You took on more. So I'm kind of curious, as we are slowly reaching our end of our interview today, is how do your children comment on your journey? I mean, do they ever talk about that? And
They do.
What do they say?
The fun thing is, they're out there all the time, and now they're adults and I can go socialize with them and travel with them. And in certain countries they are allowed to have alcohol or whatever. So we have all this like social dynamic, and the fact that I have exposed them to so many other cultures, and that's what I love. I love immersion, which probably makes Tony Robbins a perfect fit for me, but they immerse as well. And so they have, eaten strange foods in very bizarre countries, in little villages in the mountains where there's no electricity or no air conditioning. They've seen it, they've lived it, they've tasted it. They understand how I function, and it's all of their friends come to me for advice and for that energy, and I work with them and speak with them, and I'm always honest, and I'm always, want to allow them the tools to focus on what their big picture is. And my kids love how I live. I mean, yeah, they get snarky and kind of poke fun at me with all of my quotes. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I'm very much a quote junkie. I'm very much about, staying inspired and setting your mindset for your day, your week, your year, your life. And they actually bring people into my circle, and like, you just got to hang out with my mom for a while. It's all good. It's really cool. It's really cool energy to just hang out with her and all of her friends. I can go out and socialize, and I'll be at a restaurant and all of a sudden my check is paid for, and I'll look, and then I'll get a text message going, Mom, my friend Arnie was sitting like 2 tables down from you, and he just didn't want to tell you, but he just loves you and he just paid your check for you. And I'm just like, wow, and it gives me hope for millennials. And, in this day and age right now, millennials are getting a really bad rap, and I'm surrounded by dozens of them that are really movers and shakers, and I'm really proud of it.
But and there's a reason for that. Many of these millennials unfortunately did not have a parent like you, and not criticizing those other parents. It's just that there is a way that you can relate to these kids, and I don't care what generation they are. And this is an understanding that I came across, recently, and I thought to myself originally, wow, these stupid millennials, what the hell are they doing? Realizing that they just grew up in an environment that just they didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And this is what this platform is about. And I really want to thank you for today, because you truly are an inspiration for others. You truly are that person that has had some very interesting challenges, and you simply chose, path that really delivered the life that you desired. And
yeah.
One thing,
and it doesn't scare me to start over.
Nice. And one thing it really is all about this is what you don't know that you don't know, that's going to make all the difference in your life. And for this reason,
2 millimeters.
It's 2 millimeters, but sometimes it's more than that, but it's really more about not knowing what you need to know. And there's a wonderful question that I constantly ask myself, and as a performance strategist myself, or life coach, if you will, share with people is every week. And I learned this from a brilliant man called Keith Cunningham, which you're familiar with.
I love Keith, yes.
Love Keith, right?
It's the most important thing I'm going to say.
Yeah, exactly. And like a billion times.
Yeah.
And it's about, what is it that I don't know? What is it that I don't see?
Yeah.
And specifically having that question and sitting with that question for a period of time as it relates to a particular area that you're looking at because that's that place where you can look ahead. That's that place where you can have the foresight or forward vision to see
Mhm.
what's ahead and take the appropriate action. And the other part is, that law of what's called requisite variety. It's understanding that the more flexible you are, the system that has the most flexibility wins. And clearly
It
you demonstrated so much of that.
it does.
So as a last message for anyone listening, what's something that you would like to share with people? But before you do that, I do want to know as to how can people find you? What's the best way to connect with you? Because your program, your company, Big Sprout Media is absolutely phenomenal. It helps people tap into social media, help with exponential growth by really making sure that you got the algorithms,
Mhm.
correctly placed, and because that changes all the time. And so you're that master that figures that out quickly. And interesting enough, I'll just say this: Facebook just changed the algorithms for blue jeans, and so we're working in a different way today
Yeah.
than. So, how do people find you?
Kelly Hanna Video. That's my Twitter handle, my Instagram handle, Snapchat, Facebook. I'm on Facebook 24/7 pretty much. And it all ties in together. And you have to send me a message because I'm over my limit. So I'm probably going to have to create a page soon. But if you send me a message, I can friend you. But they won't let you friend me because I have too many people. But my reach is probably about 40 or 50,000 people right now and still growing.
Right. That's
And
awesome.
all the time. And even if you just want to tap in for inspiration, just please, if it's all about the journey. And the more we unite, the more we can do.
Wonderful. So, Callie, thank you so much. I know that we will be speaking more frequently also on this platform because what you have to share is absolutely wonderful. And, we share a lot of the same experiences, especially with Tony Robbins.
Yes.
For anyone who's not aware of Tony Robbins, it's a phenomenal experience. And if it's all about drinking that Kool-Aid, you know what? Give me some more
It's
because
really good. Yeah.
it's really good stuff. And some people call it, brainwashing. And the truth is, yeah, sometimes we do need to wash our brain off of the beliefs and values that don't serve us. You know,
Absolutely.
End of the day, it is all about being the best version of yourself and finding out those tools, these resources, and the ability to get the resourcefulness, the health, everything else. And
Yep.
that's what I hope to bring on this platform with incredible people like yourself. So, Kelly,
Yeah.
thank you
I just turned
again.
50 and I'm rocking it.
All right. Hey, have a great weekend.
All right. You too. Thank you so much.